a good day. About a month ago, I did a video on my crepe myrtle here. I cut it way back, I cut all the blooms off, and I just stated in that video that whenever I got a chance, if it bloomed again, I'd give you an update on it. And so I'm just kind of doing that now. It did bloom again. I had my doubts because I stopped it from blooming like in January, and it actually seemed to just kind of stunt the growth a little bit. And then when it did start blooming again, I just went ahead and cut them all off, just in the interest of getting the plant to build up a little more energy instead of putting it towards the blooms. But I'll just include that in today's, or maybe another short video coming up here soon. What I'll do now is just let it run its course, and then once these are kind of turning to seed or whatever, I'll go ahead and cut them off before they put energy into seeds. Plus, the seeds really will sprout easily, and they'll start sprouting in all the pots that I have sitting around them and everything. So this is a little cutting that I've had for a while. I've never done a video on it or anything like that. I actually had it sitting out where it was getting escape root. Kind of hard to describe where I had it sitting at, but I had it kind of sitting in another pot that sits on top of some a weed barrier cloth. And I saw a mass of roots coming out from underneath of it, kind of spreading out a little bit. And I thought it was a mass of roots spreading out over the whole thing. And I guess I forgot that I actually did have screen on it, and it was actually just coming from one root. And again, kind of hard to describe, but I needed to move the other pot, and so I had to separate it. It was about a week ago that I separated it. Really hasn't had any ill effects. I mean, there has a couple yellowing leaves. They could have been yellowing before, I don't even know. These are the older leaves. I don't really get too concerned when the older leaves are yellowing. But I've decided, I know when I actually took this off of the tip of one of my other cascades. I have 2 microcarpet cascades, and then I also have a rain tree cascade. I'm finding that I'm fighting some things with them that I'd rather just really not even deal with. I mean, it has to do with even just room to keep them. And also the fact that most plants are naturally apical, which just, you're fighting their will to grow straight up. So I think I'm just going to stick with 2 microcarpa and the rain tree. And so I'm going to try to change the angle on it, something like this, and just kind of take advantage of what movement I have there. You guys probably can't see it so well from that side. See it from this side a little bit better. Change the angle to something like that. And so what I'm going to start off by doing here is I'm going to prune off quite a bit. And again, you guys can probably see it from this end a little better than the other side. And that is, there's this. It's amazing how some of the most healthiest growth, like this right here, that actually, was just coming out of a crotch in a really bad spot and everything, but just look how healthy it was with, nice tight internodes and everything. But that's the way, the ficus trees seem to go sometimes. And that one too. And then what I'm going to do down here for the cascade part is this was actually sitting right on the ground. Because I saw that web of roots kind of coming out from under it, I actually thought that maybe this might get some aerial roots and start kind of attaching itself. I actually pulled a little bit of scale off of there. I don't want to keep the cascade anymore, so I'm going to cut that whole thing off. And then what I'm going to do is also just go ahead and pop that off there, which puts this one coming out at a really odd angle. But again, once I fix the angle of the tree itself, the sun will kind of, pull it back out straight, and it should make, and like I said, some interesting movement there. Just depending on what I see here, I may just repot it back in here. If I was going to keep it the same angle it is now, I'd probably try to really work the nabari out some. But since I'm trying to just change the angle some, I may just pull the screen off. Maybe there's that one big root right there, and get the screen off. Right there where that root is about the only part that the plant actually broke free from the soil any. There's no fine roots coming off of that. So I think I will go ahead and take that the rest of the way off. I'm going to stand it up some so I know I don't want all this substrate here. Just perfect. And actually I think when I go, now this is the angle I'm going to shoot for here, and actually that looks like it's going to have a decent little spread there from where I cut it originally and where all the roots are kind of flaring off there. Alright, I went ahead and prepared this off screen, just some boring stuff there. I did not reuse the screen on the bottom there. I think that because it has so many holes and they're so far apart, plus with my better substrate or whatever, less of it should have a chance of slipping through anyhow. But I did go ahead and I put this wire here mainly because I could have, you know, I don't tie in all of my trees, and I think I could have had it a little bit deeper in the pot, but what I'd like to do is like to have it up as high as I can, just so that I can kind of keep an eye on it a little bit better. And also, if I tie it in, trees in the shade after doing this is not necessarily because they need the shade, but I can keep it away from where it's going to get any wind or anything like that. But if I have this tied in there really securely, I think I can put this just right back out in the sun. I'll probably put it out in like some semi-shade for a few days. But because it had so much foliage on there to begin with, and I took so much off, I don't think it's really going to be an issue. And then because I usually don't leave the ties on there, even when I do use the tie downs, I don't leave them on there forever. So what I'll do is I'll tie it down up here really tight where I can see it. Then I can add the substrate around the edges here. And then as I see it become kind of root bound and solid in there, I can go ahead and take this wire off. Alright, that's good and tight. Kept it at just about the angle I wanted. Leaned it over there just a little bit too much, but that'll be okay. That branch is almost a bar branch with this one, but it is up just a little bit. And then this one comes, it's not really exactly on the same side as that one, but it's close. What I want to do, this one is actually kind of long and gangly, but what I want to do is take the end off, but leave a few leaves. And I'm actually going to do that here as well. And then come all the way back on this guy. That guy was really coming out at the awkward angle there. And what I'll do is I'll leave the growing tips there, and I'll leave the growing tips there. I mean, if they continue to push quicker than up there, it won't really matter all that much. But with me cutting those two growing tips, that should, especially with the other branches that I took off, give it enough signals there to get it to push some new back buds and everything.